Names are important. Names are so important. My name is important. Your name is important. All of our names are important. It's a big part of your identity. And combined with your charisms, your skills, your talents, your attributes, they form who you are. And that's why people put a lot of thought into naming their children. Well, unless you're Kanye and Kim. Names are important. That's why you'll never hear a mother say, we just picked the first thing that came to our mind. Or you never hear a father say that he picked something that was at random. Unless, of course, you're Kanye and Kim. Actually, maybe I shouldn't talk. Because when I was born in 1974, I was either going to be named Clayton Sean Emo or Elvis Presley Emo. No joke, Archbishop Michael, your youth and young adult ministry director could have been named Elvis Presley. That would have had us all shook up. This would have indeed been a heartbreak hotel. Although I did have a pair of blue suede shoes. Thank you very much. Thankfully, my mom won the how to name our kid debate with my dad, and hence I stand before you today as Clay and not Elvis. And in preparing for this talk, I asked my mom, well, how did you come up with my name of Clayton Sean? And she told me that she wanted a 2-syllable first name coupled with a 1-syllable middle name. And my dad looked up baby names at the library, likely on a microfiche. And my mom admitted they didn't really explore the meanings. They just wanted something that sounded good. So that they liked how Clayton Sean sounded. So I did the research for her, and I looked it up. I couldn't find a meaning for Clayton, but I did find one for Clay. And Clay means mortal. So I guess Clayton is a whole lot of mortal. My middle name, Sean, means God is gracious. Yeah, I like that one. And Emo actually means potato in Japanese. So my name means that God is going to be gracious to me, a mere mortal who loves eating potatoes. Names must be meaningful. Sometimes there's family history to consider. Names can be sentimental. They can be traditional. They can be biblical. I looked up the meaning of my lovely wife Gail's name. Now, Gail means joy of the Father. I didn't say that so she wouldn't beat me up. It actually means joy of the Father. How nice. Her middle name, Maureen, is a variant of Mary, the English term of Maria. And believe it or not, in Hebrew, Mary means bitter. I know it's kind of ironic, right? And I've also seen Mary to mean rebellious, Our Lady, and of the sea. But regardless, I can confirm that put her names together, Gail Maureen, it does indeed mean boss of the emo household. Now, when it came to naming our kids, we decided against the two obvious, like Geronimo. You just got that. She just got it right now. Awesome. So we went from Geron to Eskimo. So for our firstborn, Sean, in 2001, we actually gave him my middle name as his first name. Now, a lot of times it's the other way around, right? We'll give a child will often receive his mother or father's first name as his or her middle name. And when you think about it, you think about your family history, there's probably a lot of those, right, where it's your first name is your child's middle name. But we went the other way, and we gave Sean my middle name as his first name, because as I told you, God is gracious, and you can't really go wrong with that. So for Sean's middle name, we picked Isaiah, which means God is salvation. So check this out. Sean's name is pretty darn powerful. It's God is gracious and salvation, potato. Next was Jacob. Jacob was born 2 years later in 2003. And Gil and I were actually deciding between 4 names for Jacob. Jacob, Noah, Nathaniel, or Isaac. All 4 strong biblical names, right? Noah didn't sound right. Can you imagine? Noah Emo? Yeah, he's over there. That doesn't make, I know a few of them. That doesn't make any sense. So we took Noah out. And we decided on Jacob, which means supplanter or replacer. And then for his middle name, we actually went with Isaac without even considering the relationship in the Bible, the fact that obviously Isaac is Jacob's father. Rather, we had an Isaiah, And we wanted another strong biblical name that started with I-S. And I don't see any Asian kids named Ishmael or Israel. So we went with Isaac. Isaac means he will laugh, which is very appropriate for anyone who knows this guy. He's such a joy to be around. He brings such joy to our family. And in fact, he's already supplanted me as the class clown of the family, and that is not easy to do. Finally, in 2007, we had beautiful Kayla Marie. She was the first emo girl in 75 years. Yes, before her, it was 12 straight boys. And admittedly, I couldn't find a good meaning for Kayla, aside from it was the closest we can get to my first name of Clay, but Gail didn't like Clayla. Kayla Marie. Marie is a variant of Mary, as I mentioned, like Maureen, and it's multiple meanings. So there's Gail Maureen and Kayla Marie. As it makes sense, it's suitable that Kayla's middle name is much like Gail's middle name because they are so close as mother and daughter. Now, I've served in youth ministry for 23 years now, both at the parish and archdiocesan levels. And one of the most important mantras I've learned, aside from the one that says, young people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the best one, right? Everyone, who uses that one in their ministry? Yes, at least Drew does. Okay, awesome, good. How about this mantra? The only thing a young person's going to remember more than you remembering their first name is if you forget it. Can I get an amen if you agree with me? Amen. Yes. The only thing a young person is going to remember more than you remembering their first name is if you indeed forget their first name. And when I was younger and less experienced in youth ministry, I would come up with silly ways and techniques to remember people's names. And I mean, these were ways that were way more advanced and way more subtle than just repeating someone's first name back to them as many times as you can in a conversation. You know what I mean, Cam? You're doing a great job as emceeing, Cam. I can't wait to see what you're doing, Cam, at this Rise Up Conference, Cam, with Kate, Cameron, Kirk, Cameron, Growing Pains, you know, that kind of thing. I remember, so one of my creative ways was simply making them repeat it back to me. So I said to someone, I said, hey, do you go by Ben, Benny, or Bennett? And he looks at me and goes, Clay, I go by Matt because that's my name. Another guy went up to, I wasn't sure what his name was, and so I tried to get all tricky. I said, hey man, can you spell your first name for me? He goes, sure, B-O-B. That Bob guy, always smart aleck. I learned sometimes the hard way that instead of messing around or trying to be cute, there's nothing wrong with saying to someone, I'm sorry, can you please remind me of your name again? That's all right, you guys. I'm sorry. What's your name again? Please remind me.